I think you all know that I've always felt the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help."
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is another episode of the Minutemen Theory. This is where everything we talk about is a hypothetical in a Minecraft, Black Ops 6, whatever your scenario is, block something or another. We're just talking about hypotheticals today. Before we get started, make sure you guys hit that like button. If you're not subscribed while you're down there, go ahead and click that red button, turn it to gray. Hit that little bell icon. Really helps out the channel. If you find anything in this useful, send it to the members of your mag, your best friend, the people that you want to have these conversations with. Let them watch this video, then y'all have a conversation about how you're setting your stuff up. We are talking about setting up SOPs, standard operating procedures, for your mag, your team, your family, whatever it is that you're going to be calling yourselves. In the last video, we talked about the civilian LMG, kind of a weird one to get started on, but that's the one that was on my mind first, and I had all this shit set out. We are going into this topic, which is going to be setting up how you're going to determine. So you need to, I'm rambling. Get it together, fatty. So when you're going to set up your SOPs, you have to basically think of everything that you can think of. You have to have a category for food. You have to have a category for water. You have to have a category for medical. You have to have a category for ammunition. You have to have a category for the weapons types that you need to have. That includes, are you going to have a civilian LMG in your team? Are you going to have a DMR in your team? Depending on how big your team is. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you only have 6 people? Do you only have 4 people? Is it just you and your best friend? How are y'all going to do this? But you need to plan out to the largest that you can fathom of what you would need, scaled up to somehow you ended up with 30 people in your mag. You have enough to do this. What are y'all doing? Okay. All that shit gets wrote down. Then you determine which one is the most important. And at the top of that list should be no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Food, water, medical. Okay. We're trying to provide some semblance of normalness in a situation, and being able to eat regularly, have water to drink, and medicine to keep you alive helps you do that. After that, then it comes ammunition and weapons. Do you have what you need to protect your family and all that stuff that you've accumulated? And then you're going to go into the types. Those 4 things, but the most important: food, water, medical. Because without this, none of the other shit matters. Then you're getting into it. And most likely, when you started into this journey into the prepared citizen mindset, the Minuteman, whatever, you went out and you got yourself an EDC. Maybe you got a rifle first. But if you're going to be a prepared citizen who's going to look after themselves and their family, you need to have one of these. It needs to be in a securable holster, whether that be an inside the waistband Kydex, and it just stays close to you. I highly suggest, if you're going to wear outside the waistband, like I know some people do, if you're going to do that, it's really easy it's a whole lot easier for someone to reach in and grab it. One, because they know it's there, unless you're printing, has some form of retention besides just a Kydex, so at least a level 2. And then I'm always carrying an extra magazine. This is a compact, so the 15s are what, go with it. I plus 2'd on both of those. These are actually the only two 15 plus magazines that I own. The rest of them are all 17s because the 17 will fit into the 15 also. And those have plus 5s and plus 4s on them. Technically, they're plus 6s and plus 5s, but you always subtract one from whatever they say that is. We're going down a tangent. Get it together, fatty. So you have committed to taking care of your family. They need to eat. They need to drink water. They need to have medicine to make sure they get all their boo-boos and ouchies and headaches and stomach aches and shit pains taken care of. Okay? How many people are you providing for? There are 5 of us. I know that if something is to happen, that Cowboy is coming here, so I'm planning for 6. We do have other members in our mag, and they all live within a 20-mile radius of here. The majority of them are going to be going to, I'm going to call it the farm, which is a little bit bigger and can hold more people. And they worry about their own food over there. I am only worried about what we're doing here. So I know there's going to be 6 mouths. I'm going to plan for 8. Once I get to where I want food-wise, we'll bump that up to like 10. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that we have enough food stored. My goal is to hit a 1.5 years. Why a 1.5 years? Because it takes you a year to grow your own stuff, harvest it, store it, keep going. You know what I'm saying? This is just a process. If I have a 1.5 years, at least a 1.5 years of food set up, or something happened and weren't able to get anything for a year, we're good until all the stuff that we starts producing, right? And then we're just going to keep it going. And then after that, once I get to a 1.5 years worth of food for 6 people, then I'm going to get enough for a 1.5 years for 8 people, and then 10 people. And then we'll take it from a 1.5 years to 3 years. That takes up a lot of space. So where are you going to store it all? Who's spending the money on it? If Cowboy's coming over when everything happens, is he supposed to chip in on this? I mean, he can if he wants, but I am taking it upon myself to have at least enough food for a 1.5 years for 6 people. There are 5 people in my house. That's 1 extra mouth. So it doesn't really matter if he chips in or not. If he's going to be bringing his own shit anyways, if he can. And the plan is for him to bring all his stored up food and ammunition and weapons with him when he comes. A well-laid plan always falls to the wayside the first punch in the mouth. So that's why I'm stocking up a little bit extra. And then quickly going into that is water. Water weighs a lot. How are you going to be storing water for 6 people and for how long? Obviously, I'm trying to get a month's worth for 6 people. I usually keep enough water for 6 people for a week in the house. I'd like to start storing up to where I can get the 6 people through a month, and then we can build on from there. You have to check your state laws to see if you're allowed to catch rainwater, but should you go ahead and do it anyways, you put out your barrels or your IBC totes or whatever. Are they going outside? Do you have to build a stand for them? Or are you putting them down in the basement and pumping up? How are you going to be pumping the water out? Are you doing that manually? Do you have solar? This is why you have to plan all that shit out, right? But the goal is to have like 3 months of water for 6 people in the house at all times, with the ability to get more. Something happens and you're not able to use a vehicle, how are you going to get water? Where's the closest place you can go? If you're going to the back of a yellow DG store, do you have the little 4-way thing that allows you to get into water sources, so public water sources? Do you carry those with you? How much are you doing? How long The longer you're there filling up a 55-gallon drum, the more likely you're going to get caught. So are you filling up a drum or are you filling up a bladder? These are all things you have to take into account. And then medical. Is anybody on special? Do they have medication that they should have at least 6 months stocked up? Are they diabetic? If they are diabetic, how bad are they? Because it could be a thing where if you have, you know, a couple months of the pill and you're not able to take the shot, you can at least take the pill for a little while. Hopefully something comes back up. Maybe you're weaning yourself back off of that because you're not able to get any more after 6 months anyways. You got bigger problems, and in that 6 months you've probably lost a lot of weight. So depending on how bad of a diabetic you are, if you're one of those that your numbers are good but you just need to lose that 100 pounds and then you could quit taking the medicine, this is going to be your time to shine. Do you have the medicine? That's where Jace Medical comes in really nice, because they give you Jace kits and kids kits and stuff like that, ivermectin, and there's a whole list of things. There is a link in the description. Saves you like 10 bucks or something. 10 bucks, or I think it's 10 bucks. Anyways, shameless plug. Do you have your food? Do you have your water? Do you have your medical? Do you have ammo? I am trying to get to 1,500 rounds of what I would be using and 1,500 rounds of practice ammo for both the rifle and the pistol. And then we plus up, but that's the goal that I'm trying to hit. And I'm pretty close to having that 6,000 rounds of ammunition. But yeah, how much ammo? Ammo weighs a ton. How are you holding it? Are you keeping it in the boxes? Are you dumping it into an ammo can? Where's all that shit going? Do you have a place for it? Do you have it in such a way that if something happens and you did have to leave, you could carry as much with you as possible? Maybe you took a 3-day pack and you put 6 of those ammo cans in there. It's going to weigh a ton. Life's going to suck for you, but at least you're able to get away with, you know, that's 6. How much can you put in there? I think you put 1,000 rounds per can, so that's 6,000 rounds. It's going to suck carrying that bitch, but at least you got, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, I have rambled on, and that's a lot to take in a short amount of time. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree that the most important thing for when you're setting up your SOPs is going to be food, water, medical, and ammo. And these 3 obviously trump the 4th. How is your team doing it? Are y'all all pitching in together? Are you just doing enough for you and yours plus 1, and they're doing for them plus 1 and bringing with them? How are you guys doing it? Get out there with your team. Have these conversations. Make sure you're setting up your SOPs, because this is important. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Until next time, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready.